Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, Tor're Sanz. Listen, all right, so I was going through like some crates here at the house, and I happened to come across a book or a magazine from back in 2002, and this is called Q Magazine, and on the cover is Paulina Rubio, who is, this Latina who actually, she had like a lot of big hits back in the 2000s. And I know it's been a while since I actually posted a video, but I wanted to actually come to you guys and talk a little bit about this magazine cover here. Well, not the cover, but this particular issue. Okay, so this is called Q Magazine. I don't even know if they still even exist at this point, but back then in 2002, I was actually a part of this issue. There's a photo of me right there, and it's called Overcoming Obstacles. And I can't really remember exactly how I ended up in this particular magazine because I think they were asking people with backgrounds in Latin, descent or whatever, to submit their stories and stuff. And I think that's probably what it was. But this is like a men's journal, a Latino men's journal. And so it's called Overcoming Obstacles. And it says, an Afro-Cuban Dominican man recalls the challenges he's faced in life as a mixed Latino. And so I'm going to read this to you guys. It says, in life, there are no limitations. What you see and how we choose to perceive it defines our own personalities. My life has never been an open book until now. So that was just kind of like the lead in for the story. So here it goes. It says, as a young Afro-Latino mixed male from the Midwest, Michigan, I see a society that's completely different from other parts of the country, a society where most races keep to themselves. Whites live in the suburbs, blacks and Arabs live in the hood, while Mexicans claim the southwest side of Detroit. Because of my mixed ethnicity, I am often asked if my hair is permed or what am I mixed with. It is an ignorance that I'm faced with almost every day. Because of the difficulty I experienced adjusting to my racial makeup, not being completely Spanish and not being 100% black, I have had many emotional ups and downs throughout my life. As a child, I knew I was different from other neighborhood boys. While I enjoyed playing sports, I was often faced with many insecurities. In addition to that, it was very difficult for me to grow up without having my biological father present in my life as often as I would have liked to. My parents separation tore both sides of my family apart. As a child, I spent many hours hiding in my room, listening to music, which was my sort of, I don't know, I'm trying to read this so many years later, which was my sort of escape goat. Fortunately, my mother raised me in a home where I was taught Christian beliefs and unconditional love. I was taught to never disrespect, discriminate, or hate others based upon age, color, or sexual orientation. My mother was loving and always there for her children, no matter what. She taught us to always be honest and to be the best we could be, no matter who we were. My isolation was finally broken in the sixth grade when I met a boy named Dennis Brentley. He and I discovered that we could relate to each other because we were both sort of outcast from the rest of our classmates. The two of us clicked right away and we began hanging out every day. With him, I shared my deepest, darkest secrets and told him everything about myself. He listened to me without being judgmental, and he was able to understand me. He got me. So he and I would hang out on the playground and sing our favorite songs, joke and laugh. He was the one person I could just cling on to for anything. He allowed me to be myself. Unfortunately, we ended up being separated when we had to go to different junior high schools. We wouldn't meet up again until we got to high school. When I did get to high school, I found it horrible. I hated it. I just didn't fit in at all. I had a terrible acne problem, straight hair, a big nose, and big lips. My self-esteem was low and my grades were failing. I was extremely shy and critical of my every move. No one knew what to think about me, so I was teased constantly. Every day on the school bus, people would call me faggot and weirdo just because I was so quiet. All of this took its toll on me, and I decided to quit school. But just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, I met a girl named April Harvey, who was the sweetest and most respectful person I had met since Dennis. Like Dennis, she didn't judge me and she completely understood me. She and I began writing letters to each other every day, sharing poetry, and talking on the phone from sunup to sundown. I would share with her all of my feelings of unhappiness, and in return, she would tell me about the things she was dealing with in her life. Like me, she also felt like an outcast. April taught me a lot, and I could count on her at any time. She also felt like an outcast. April taught. Okay, so let's see here. She was the kind of friend who would give her own right hand if I needed it, and I loved her for that. April, Dennis, and I became very close and developed a special bond that nothing could ever break. At least so we thought. Okay, sorry, I'm having issues like reading the story. Like, my eyes are kind of bad right now. So okay, so it says not too long ago, Dennis' life was taken. So I'm flipping the page here. Taken from us. On the day that he died, Dennis was drifting in and out of a deep sleep and was talking to himself. He was a big Janet Jackson fan, and she just happened to be in town for her concert tour. Dennis was talking as if he was at the concert. He was overheard saying, "Janet, dance for me." He seemed so happy and cheerful. I asked him if he was going to go to her final show that night, and he told me that he hoped to. That night, a friend of ours who went to the show told me that the show was completely sold out except for one open seat in the arena that was right next to his. No one sat there the entire night. Upon hearing this, all I could do was smile because I knew that Dennis in spirit must have been there at the show. Knowing that gave me a sense of peace, and I was finally able to rest at night. Dennis was the most beautiful, gentle, sweet soul I had ever known, but in spirit, I know he'll never leave me alone. God places people on earth for a reason, and Dennis did, indeed, serve a wonderful purpose in my life. I am very thankful for him and the time we had as best friends. I often think about our lives together and the 13 years I knew him. I will never forget the joy he brought to my life. I remember his last words to me. He told me that he loved me and that he'll never forget me. I know that he is doing just fine in his new life outside of mine. Okay, so we got some more to go here too. Okay, in some strange way, Dennis' death has also given me a new outlook on life. His passing has taught me that life must go on and that I must make the most of it. I am now 23 years old. Now, mind you, I wrote this at age 23. I'm now 42. So this is crazy going back down this trip of memory lane. But it says I am now 23 years old and motivated to make a positive difference, not only in my life, but on the lives of others. For example, I have become involved in the community by recently joined an organization called La Comunidad, a Hispanic Latino organization that hosts various events for Latinos in the local area of the LGBT community. Being a part of this organization has helped guide me and encourage me to believe that I can do anything and be the best person I can be. And so now, armed with all of my life experiences, I look to a future with optimism. It's easy for me to see that I have grown up into an adult who is open and free and working every day to reach his goals. Now, I dedicated the story to the memory of my dear best friend, Dennis Brentley. So that's what I wrote. I hope you guys were able to kind of get the gist of what I was saying. But then there was also a second part that they chopped up called An Ode to Prince. An Ode to Prince. And I'm going to read that real quick, too. I'm going to try to do this video under 10 minutes. Okay, so An Ode to Prince, a tribute to an artist who gave hope to one gay Afro-Latino. Okay, so it says, if you've just read the story prior to this, you'll notice that I said music was my scapegoat during difficult moments in my life. I grew up in the 1980s listening to Boy George, George Michael, Prince, Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, Gloria Estefan, and Madonna. At the time, many grown-ups questioned many of these artists' sexualities, and kids would often confuse them with the opposite sex. But I felt a common ground with them and felt at ease with their every sound. Out of all these artists, Prince had the biggest influence on me. In fact, in 1984, when I was 7 years old, my mother and stepfather drove me to the drive-in to see his movie Purple Rain. I remember being in a trance by his performance. He wore tight black slacks, heels, and a ruffled white blouse. And he sang the words, "I'm not your woman, I'm not your man, I am something that you will never understand." I suddenly knew he was someone I could relate to. One of the first albums I bought with my allowance was Prince's Love Sexy album. I thought it was the most incredible record I'd ever heard. The messages his music taught me were incredibly empowering. He taught me how to love myself, stay focused, and never let anyone tear me down. He taught me to never give up on my life aspirations, but keep going until I reached a place in life where I could just say, F it, I'm going to do whatever I want. Prince made me feel like I wasn't alone, because he was someone just like me. It wasn't so much his flamboyant style that captured me, but his entire persona. He was eccentric, sexy, and spiritual. His lyrics spoke to me and took me into another whole new world. Songs like Let's Go Crazy and When Doves Cry bring memories of the rocky relationship I had with my stepfather. Other songs like The Ladder, Free, and The Love We Make gave me the inspiration to write poetry and short stories about my life and about how and about how our world would be if no one judged anyone on earth. Sometimes I locked myself in my room for hours in the dark and listened to his voice sing the words to Pop Life over and over again. What's the matter with your life? Is poverty bringing you down? Years later, I still love Prince. He has helped me along my journey as a gay man. His latest musical journeys have taught me to never dwell on the past, but to live each day as it comes and to stay focused on the now. Through the internet, I recently began talking to Prince fans from all over the world about his music and what it does for us. We all agree that it's refreshing, uplifting, and undeniably incredible. He makes me dance, laugh, cry, and think, and that's why I created Interactive Friends. And at the time, I had a website for that as well. A fan club that we also created was based in the Metro Detroit area in honor of his work. Each month we would throw huge dance parties with different themes and invite all Prince fans from all over the world, whether they're gay, straight, black, white, Latino, or whatever. We all would come together and with one common thing, and that was Prince's music. It's a beautiful thing when people of different backgrounds and generations can come together and celebrate life. Prince's music has always been there to lift me up and enlighten me. I grew up with him from a 7-year-old kid to an open and free adult who was working daily to reach his goals. Because of him, I have had the strength to look forward to each and every day in a world of never-ending happiness where you can always see the sun day and night. How about that? Sorry if it seems like I rushed a little bit because I think I can only do about 15 minutes on this video, but this was it. It's from 2002. It was a summer issue for the men's journal, Q Magazine, and I was featured in it. And I wrote about my life growing up, being a minority, and a minority of different things, whether I'm black or brown and brown and gay or whatever the case is. And this is my story, and I wanted to share it with people back then. At the age of 23, I'm 42, and I'm still doing this thing, and I still have my own Prince community that I'm a part of, and I love it. And I got my 10-year-old nephew. He's sitting here at the table with me, so maybe he say hey. So you're gonna think about this years later. You're gonna look back at this video, and you're gonna say, yeah, my uncle was a brave dude, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I'm just kind of, popping my own collar. But anyways, I just wanted to share this with you guys. What can I say? Dennis is still my best friend. April is still my best friend. Prince is still my favorite artist of all time. I think I'm even more confident than I've ever been in my life before. And, a lot has changed since this story. Obviously, my mom passed away from COVID-19 earlier this year on April 9th, 2020. And so I've been dealing with that and just kind of dealing with this whole new normal of the way of life that we see it now. But I think I'm even stronger than I was back then. And life is a good teacher, and we live and we learn from it. So just take this as a lesson, that life is a good teacher, and that we have to learn from our own experiences, and we move on and we continue to grow. We always continue to evolve in life. So thank you for watching this video, just under 15 minutes. I love you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, and also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like some good Prince music, you can always follow me at We Live to Get Funky on Instagram. We Live, the number 2, Get Funky on Instagram. We Live to Get Funky Facebook group, and also the Prince Tribute page on Facebook. And that's Prince Tribute, 2 words. And you can follow that page to check out my live streams. All right, I love you guys. Oh, and Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at We Live to Get Funky. Have a great one, and happy New Year. 2021's right around the corner. I'll see you guys in there. 2021. It can only get better from here.